Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Overflow Podcast. As always, my name is Joaquin.
I'm Jake.
And we are so happy that you are here with us today. And today we have a special guest. Why don't you speak into the mic? Want to speak into the mic? What's your name?
Michael.
His name is Michael. Speak into the mic.
What am I supposed to say?
Hi.
How about you introduce yourself? There you go.
Jeez, I'm sorry. I thought you would understand when I said, hey, we got a special guest. Why don't you speak into the mic? And you would understand what it is that I needed from. That's on me.
The funniest thing, he should be glad that we don't have a camera in here yet.
That's on me.
Because like the look on his
Oh
face.
man, I turned so red.
The look on his face when he got caught, like.
What I do? I don't know what to say. But anyway, we are here. We are here today.
We are gathered here today.
We got a lot of stuff that we got to burn through because Michael's going to be sharing some stuff with us that I've never heard, I don't think. So I'm excited to not say anything and let him do all the talking.
Which is something he doesn't like doing.
The tough cookies.
True.
You're here. Cookies. Sounds so good. What was I going to say? Oh, so anywho, we got a lot of stuff we got to go through. Music for the week.
Right.
And Comic-Con was this San Diego Comic-Con, which is the biggest of the Comic-Cons, was
and we warned people last week.
Was it? So listen, like fast forward about 45 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, because we about to get crazy. I'm like, oh. But before we do that, Jay, how was your week?
I'm trying to do a Michael impersonation.
yeah, don't do.
What is it?
It
How
had
was your
less
week?
sound.
Yeah, don't do impersonations.
Perfect.
Anyway,
You're terrible.
It was dope. It was dope.
Terrible.
It was
Terrible.
easy. Shut your face so I can speak.
Go ahead.
Right? It was easy week. Like nothing.
All right.
Nothing. Right? Nothing happened.
Nothing.
Oh no, that's a lie.
What happened?
Was it? No. Bean got a haircut.
We
cut Bean's hair off. Did we say that last week?
I think we did say it last week.
Did we?
I think so. But anyway, if you didn't,
When did he get his fresh cut? Didn't he?
then he got it.
No, actually,
that's what it was. He got faded in this week.
He got his first haircut last week. Right? We donated. It's about 10 inches of hair.
Right.
Right. And then all right, ready? So we took him to this place called Pigtails and Crew Cuts, right? Which was cool because the stations have like the chairs are like a police car or an airplane or whatever, right? And they asked the kid, "Where do you want to sit?" So he wanted to sit in the airplane.
Dinosaur.
Dope. Like he was dope. Like he was well behaved, no crying, no nothing. Just sat there, got his haircut, super excited.
Right.
But I'm like, faded down, right? And the woman was like, are you speaking English? I was like, yeah,
Right.
When it faded down to like a skin fade, and then she cut as low as she can with the scissor, and I was like, all right, no, this can't be okay. All right, thank you very much, right? And just whatever. So we waited the week so there could be a little growth, and I took him to the barber. Yesterday.
Right.
Right. I was like, oh. Hey, your man's got a haircut. Like, you cut his hair off. Yes, but now he needs a real fade. Can you help a brother out and give my son an actual fade? I need an uptown. Right? Sat him on the chair, and it was all good. Now it looks great because now he's got an actual fade.
Yeah, it looks okay. It looks all right.
Shut up.
I mean, we don't know who looks more like a hipster, his kid or Jay with his new Warby Parkers.
They have not come in yet.
Oh, shots fired, Michael.
They haven't come in yet.
That's a brave move, Michael.
And
you're out.
The frames that I picked aren't like spectacular or special.
You didn't pick the best ones.
No.
Well, I mean,
I didn't pick the hipster ones. I just picked regular frames.
They're like old man hipster. Like the
late to the
like when a hipster. No. That's like when a hipster gets old, but he's still wearing the same glasses he had 15 years back. When he was a young hipster, old hipster.
The funny thing is that, right,
old hipster.
Let's be honest, right? I'm honest with myself. I got a big old head, so I'm not gonna get like small frames.
No.
Right?
You're not being honest. You got a big old forehead.
And I'm gonna get. No, I got a big forehead attached to my big head, right? So I'm not gonna get like small frames. Or Juice was like suggesting that I get round frames. Like, no, my head is too big for small or round frames, right?
Like,
so,
yeah, 2 orange-sized circles in pretty.
Right. The good thing about I'm not gonna lie. The
Juice.
good thing about Warby Parker is that they have that in-home trial.
Yeah.
Right. So I got the 5 frames, and I picked. It's so funny. Before I decided to go with Warby Parker, I went to where I got my eye exam, Thomas Eye Group, and the frames that I picked there look exactly like the Warby Parker frames, except that Warby Parker I only paid $100, whereas over there they were like already up to like $250.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right?
Right.
It's like, what?
Right.
Wait a minute.
Knowing that both frames were made by the same child labor person in China.
Exactly. Right. But
Pay extra.
But the other place had Calvin Klein stamped to the
Stamped
side,
on it, yeah.
right?
Warby Parker.
Instead of Warby Parker. So
Warby. That sounds like a women's brand of clothing. Warby Parker jumpsuits. Jay's getting Warby Parker jumpsuits.
So yeah, they haven't come in yet. It's so funny. They
Like
sent,
Hillary.
They sent the case. The case came in on Friday.
One of those trifold cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys speaking to the microphone.
Oh, trifold case.
Yes,
Yeah.
there we go.
The case came in on Friday,
got
but
2
like
of them.
the glasses aren't here yet. You see, like, what frames are you wearing?
Watts.
All
The
right,
watch
because you got the little round frames, right? But you got
They're
a
the only ones that fit my head.
yeah,
it's
because you got a tiny skinny head, so
Yeah,
it's like
little peanut head.
It's gotta work.
it works for you. But yeah, my Warby Parkers because they were cheap.
That's okay. If you want to go real class 5 hipster, you go to Zennies. These are like $10 ones because you know you're gonna break them.
Yo, someone sent me the Zennies. Like, don't lie. Someone sent me the Zennies website, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool. Yeah, nice frames." But $10, $15, I'm not buying that crap.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I would have.
And they're like, "Why not?" Because as a designer, I always tell people, "Listen, my prices because of my experience and what I bring." Right? You want to go cheaper? You get what you pay for.
Right. You get the same frames made by the same
I literally mean
child labor
students-
kids in China that made the Warby Parkers and the Calvin.
Not even the
Calvin
Oh my
Klein
gosh.
in quotes.
the
Calvin Klein.
Zennies are like child labor, like made in Thailand or something.
Made in
It's
Thailand.
not- It's
Singapore.
not the same quality.
Ouch.
We don't.
Ouch. I mean, I was stretching it, and you were just completely just. I'm usually the one that takes it way out of pocket.
It's usually me trying to calm you down.
Jay's usually the one telling me to bring it back in the pocket. And Jay, I'm sorry to all our people out there. I apologize for that.
Anyway.
Thailand makes quality things.
Tell me one thing.
So
Change the subject.
Thai food, quality, delicious.
I mean, Kabine make glasses.
Who?
Kabine.
You might have been able to get them for $50.
Bean can't make glasses because he's not.
He's wow.
That's the same age. I was just curious.
I'm so ashamed. What did I start? This is my fault. This is my fault. This is my fault. I blame Michael. Because Jay doesn't get this out of control when no one's here. You're here, and all of a sudden, he's just like this. You know what? We're moving on. My week was great, and so we're gonna leave it at that. So because there was a lot of stuff, so we're gonna talk about a couple of trailers that were our favorites, and we showed them to Michael so he can chime in. Michael likes movies, and he likes the superhero movies, so he can chit chat about it. But we're gonna mention. I'm gonna mention all the trailers that we saw that me and Jay talked about that we were like awesome, and we hope that you guys go check them out. Because
And if you don't,
they were awesome, and if you don't, then you're a loser. So we have
Go check Rotten Tomatoes.
so we're gonna
it
start.
sucks to be you. You
What-
don't know what's good.
Yeah, so we're gonna start with Godzilla 2. Trailer came out for the sequel to Godzilla.
Did you watch the first one?
The first
The first
Godzilla.
Godzilla, yeah.
They have Chris Pratt.
I wasn't
Who's it?
born
No.
when the first Godzilla came out.
Here we go.
Wah, wah. Yes, I gotta watch Godzilla. I liked it.
Did you?
Wait, which Godzilla? Because there's been like
Talking about
three
recent
since,
ones.
The recent one.
Yeah.
Recent one, the one before this one.
Yeah, with Aaron Aaron something. Yes, the Flash, Quicksilver.
Quicksilver, because
Right.
the dead one.
The dead one. Yes.
I made the connection.
Yes. 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 Godzilla.
And
I liked it.
And Bryan Cranston.
Right. I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it. The Asian guy was like, "Let them fight."
It was a great movie, and they only showed like 5 minutes of Godzilla.
Like the whole time you're tense because like you see
And you
like
see the
shadows
silhouettes,
or you see
you see the
and
shadows
then all of a
lit
sudden
up,
when you see him you're like ah yeah
right? And then 5 minutes Godzilla, like he like tap dance, and then he was
comes
gone.
in and he wrecks. He was like a Godzilla in a China shop, just wrecking stuff. Actually, it would be a Japanese shop since that's where he's originally from. Where's my? I don't have my pen. Okay,
We got jokes for days, ladies and gentlemen.
Not the Thailand shop.
can you believe this guy is single? With these, I can't. All right, so Godzilla. We had Godzilla. Godzilla 2. Awesome
And
trailer.
it's got the little girl from Stranger Things.
Sure, because I haven't watched that.
What's her name? Bob, whatever.
Marley.
Her name is Bob. Haley
I
Bob.
don't know.
Something.
Billy
Is she gonna
Bob.
take him to the Upside Down?
You know what? I have no idea what that is. Maybe.
Maybe.
All right, next trailer that we saw that we really liked, Glass,
Yo.
which was the sequel, which is officially the sequel to Split, which Split was unofficially until it was officially the sequel to Unbreakable,
Unbreakable.
which are
Have you seen Split?
which
No, I
are
haven't seen
me
any of
neither. Okay, so they're M Night Shyamalan movies before he started like making terrible movies. Because like Unbreakable was like really good, and then I think after Unbreakable everything went downhill. So Glass. If you saw Unbreakable,
Mr. Glass
they
was
introduced Mr. Glass, and so he was a guy that he would always get hurt, and so he was always looking for his counterpart.
Bones were super fragile.
You know, he was always looking for his counterpart, so he found him in Bruce Willis' character. You should check that movie out; it's fantastic. And then
it's on HBO, I think.
and then Split came out, which I haven't seen, which I will remedy this week.
Yes. Do it.
And then
It's also
Split
on HBO.
is on HBO. Split ended up being the sequel to kind of Unbreakable. And so,
It
so
was-
now it's a trilogy.
And it was weird, right? Because Split was a completely different story on its own,
Yes.
right? And no one knew, right? There was nothing about the movie Split that tied to Unbreakable
Until the very end.
Right at the very end. When I saw that, because I'm watching Split and I'm like, damn, James McAvoy is a freaking amazing actor.
Right.
Right? And then right at the very end, when Split ended, I literally, I was like this. And Magda's like, what's wrong with you? Because Unbreakable is one of my top 5.
Yeah. So Unbreakable.
Right, so,
Unbreakable is a superhero movie that is not a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Correct.
You know, so that's why I'm saying, like, if you like, especially if you like superhero movies, you should watch it because it's so, you know, The Dark Knight, Batman Begins, right? It's the idea of superhero in kind of our world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Unbreakable is our world, and there's this guy with superpowers. That's complete. It's, you know, he's not in a costume. He's not in whatever. He's just this guy that all of a sudden,
Like, he didn't know anything.
he survives this catastrophe, and then from there you just start figuring out, holy cow, this dude, and he didn't even know, like he never made the connection until it was made for him. So it's a superhero movie without being a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's really, really good.
So now it's just an unlikely superhero trilogy.
And it turned into
So at like months after, M. Night Shyamalan finally said, yes,
it is the sequel.
yes, Split is a sequel to
And
this
they're-
movie came out years and years before.
Right.
This is a sequel to that movie. So now
I'm watching it this week. That's
he put out Glass,
Put out the trailer to Glass,
which
so.
is the end of the trilogy.
Yeah. So and it looks fantastic.
Yeah, it looks
So yeah, so Unbreakable and Split. I will also do. I think I'm gonna watch Unbreakable and then Split just to kind of get it all connected. But you don't have to watch Unbreakable to watch Split. That's the
you don't.
That's the thing.
You don't.
All right.
They're both standard.
So now, all right. So those are 2 movie trailers that came out that we're excited about. So I'm just gonna briefly mention Flash, Arrow, and Legends of Tomorrow. There's sizzle reels.
You're gonna briefly mention Flash? Are you serious?
Okay. So we'll briefly mention Legends of Tomorrow. So
even if you briefly mention Arrow, I can understand. But the Flash?
I don't know. Their trailer came out. Wait, listen. Look at me. I am the captain now. So Legends Tomorrow, their trailer came out for the new season.
Right.
Constantine's going to be on it, so it looks like it's going to be fun. I like Legends. It's the funner of Arrow and Flash.
No,
it's the funner.
I like Legends, but like the trailer didn't show anything.
Didn't show a lot. It just kind of connected the what we're to expect.
Right.
This next
Constantine.
season. Now,
which is dope because of what happened to Constantine.
Right. Constantine's it's great that it's the same actor.
Yes.
I think. Anyway, then we had Arrow, the kind of the
Batman of the show.
We had Arrow, the Batman of CW. Dude,
the Dark Knight.
I think after so Arrow had
Star City.
Yeah, Arrow had like the first season was really good, second season was really good, and third season they kind of wibble wobbled, but then they brought it back and
the third season didn't wibble wobble,
and then
the third season sank like a rock.
That's the one with Adam.
No, that was the one with Dark. That's where they introduced
Dark.
That's where they introduced the magic aspect of that world. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, it wasn't great.
It sounded like a mobster with concrete shoes.
It wasn't great. It was all right. Jay's, overly critical as always.
It was horrible.
But then
it was trash, bro.
It was what it was. Well, but you know what? Though you needed season 3 because they introduced the whole idea of like dark magic, which brought Constantine, which brought some of this other stuff.
Yeah.
So that's okay. That's the redeeming quality of it. Now seasons 4 and 5 were really great. This new season I think is gonna be pretty good. Oliver's in jail. Diaz is still coming. It's still gonna come after him. So looks like a new Archer shows up. So yeah. So I think I think they found their groove again by coming back to the gritty street level kind of thing. And then we have Jay's favorite, the angsty, the Spider-Man 3, Peter Parker.
Nah, it's not even about that. This trailer,
The Flash.
This trailer, come on. This trailer introduced Nora.
Wait. So I have not seen the last season.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah.
I know I'm about to get spoilers.
Spoilers alert.
Spoiler alert. This trailer introduces Nora.
Introduces Nora.
The Flash ring. Come on, son. Those two things alone are worth like.
So we already saw it. So that's it. Season's done. Jay's like, they introduced Nora and the Flash ring.
No, but I'm saying
we've seen it, so we're done.
The trailer. I'm saying the trailer. Come on. How many seasons of Flash is it?
This is the 5th season, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Look, go by villains. Yeah. So you had Reverse Flash, then you had
Reverse Flash.
No, then you had
Other Flash.
Then you had Zoom. Then you had Savitar.
Speedster 3.
Then you had the Thinker.
Yeah, so it's 5.
Yeah, so 5.
Yeah, and finally we're gonna see the Flash ring. It's been teased since what, like season 2?
Yeah.
Right.
No,
finally we see the Flash ring.
No. Like
come on,
like
son.
no, when I watched the trailer, so I had gone to the mall today just to walk around, and I sat in the car and I was like, let me watch these trailers before So I was in the car, and I'm watching the Flash trailer, and I see the ring. I'm like, ah! It's the ring!
That's awesome.
Finally.
So Flash has a ring in the comic books, and they even played it up in the animated series, where his costume is. Mm-hmm. So he pops it open, and he
uses a Speed Force to pop it open.
Yeah,
but during the Savitar season, remember the Flash from the future, him right, he had it.
He had it on his
You know what I mean? So we were like, that's what we thought
I
that he was
remember
going to get
hinting
it.
at it.
Right? It was, he's going to get the ring.
Nope.
And they waited a whole season.
Right?
Yeah. So now, So and then there's a new villain. They're introducing the new bad. So it'd be interesting to see
who is this guy?
Who he is. I read somewhere that he's basically I can't remember the guy's name. He's like an immortal who's out to he blames the metahumans for him being an immortal or something. So he's like trying to like
the dude lives forever and he's mad about it.
Yeah.
Sucker.
So anyway, so Flash coming out, super excited. Now the next two television shows that quickly mention.
One ring to rule them all.
One ring to rule them all. So me and Jay mentioned this before. DC Universe, they finally came out. They announced that it's going to be, which is the DC's streaming service for original programming plus back catalog of their stuff. They came out. They announced it's going to be $7.99 a month. To subscribe, they had a deal where it was like, so it's probably going to be what, about $85 if you pay for the whole year. So they announced that at Comic-Con, and with that, they released 2 trailers to probably the 2 most anticipated shows coming out as far as comic book people, as far as DC fans. Number 1 is Young Justice, Outsiders.
Yo.
Which, did you ever watch Young Justice, Mike?
No, I've never seen it.
All right, so you need to find Young Justice.
I've got a lot of homework to do.
Yes. Yeah, Young Justice was animated.
The desk there from Jay.
Yeah.
Yo, because you impressed me when you mentioned earlier that you saw the Teen Titans series. Not Teen Titans Go. Most people, they know about Teen Titans Go, and they don't really know about Teen Titans. But you haven't watched Young Justice?
I haven't seen it. When Teen Titans got off the television, I was like,
yeah.
Will there be anything better than that?
Young Justice? Oh, Young Justice is the best. The best.
So Young Justice, I think Teen Titans is kind of that same idea. It's just the sidekicks, the young heroes getting together. But instead of being Teen Titans, they're like they're Batman's special ops team. So he sends them on.
Right, but they're all like specific sidekicks, right?
Right.
Because Teen Titans weren't all sidekicks.
Right.
But it's
the
Robin,
idea of them
Superboy.
being teens together. So you have Robin, you have Kid Flash, you have Aqualad,
Superboy,
and Superboy, Miss Martian, and who am I missing? They introduced Artemis. I think that's the other one I was thinking of. Artemis.
So a lot of people.
But then later,
by the second season.
but then the second season they introduced like a Blue Beetle. They introduced a whole bunch of other characters. Yeah. Really good. It lasted 2 seasons, and then inexplicably, I think they weren't selling enough toys. They took them off.
That's what it was.
They took it off the
Only
air.
2?
Yeah,
that's what it was. It was that they weren't marketing because they weren't selling enough toys and backpacks. Because that's where all the real money comes from, right? But and also I read somewhere that they were kind of upset that like a lot of girls were watching it.
All right, so here it is. All right, so anyway, so you got Young Justice.
You got to watch Young Justice.
You got to find them. You got to find it and watch it. I'm watching it now again for probably the millionth time.
Well, it's only 2 seasons, so you can watch it.
No, but I'm saying is like about every 10 months I watch it.
Wow.
I love it. I'm watching it now and I know what's going to happen. I'm still like, oh my gosh. So Chris Klein. So for Flash,
I got it.
He plays Cicada, a grizzled blue-collar everyman whose family has been torn apart by metahumans. Cicada now seeks to exterminate the epidemic, one metahuman at a time.
Using a trademark lightning bolt dagger.
So, it's different.
Which is what we saw in the trailer.
Yes, which is what we saw in the trailer, which is very interesting. They did a really good job with the Thinker.
They did.
So hopefully this is
I
just a continuation of that.
The Thinker was the first non-speedster villain.
Right.
Right? And it was great.
Yes.
And it was great. So maybe they're, exploring more.
Now they're finding their legs.
Right?
Yeah, they're finding their legs on the.
Because just because he's a speedster doesn't mean every villain has to be a speedster. I mean,
right.
Come on.
But I mean, I guess it was one of those things where it's an easy write.
Yeah.
So we'll have them. Reverse Flash, that's an easy one, right? Off the jump.
Well, Reverse Flash is the arch enemy, no matter what.
So, But anyway, so Flash coming out. Yeah, so it looks like it's.
Did you know that
gonna be
there
great.
was a Lego Aquaman movie?
I did.
Rage of Atlantis.
I didn't tell
think
you.
It's called.
Yeah, I did. I haven't watched it yet.
I can't say the same.
But
Was it good or was it bad?
It was great.
I know we love the Lego DC movies.
I watched
the DC
it.
Lego movies. I,
watched,
don't know what to call
I watched it
them.
with Bean last Saturday.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched it
That's
yet. I
awesome.
finally watched the Flash one a while back. It was hilarious.
Okay, it was.
I didn't know they had a Flash one.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
behind.
Yeah. Ugh,
Yeah,
we're gonna have to
yeah.
catch you up.
Yeah, you were.
So anyway, so Flash. All right, and then last TV show that we're
TV show? Okay.
no, because we're Young Justice.
Oh, we're doing the TV shows. Okay.
Flash,
yeah.
and then we're gonna hit the 2 trailers we really want to
Oh yeah,
geek
right.
out
yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah.
And then the last TV. This is the last 3 things we're gonna really geek out about. Number one we've talked about before, Titans.
Titans.
They finally released the trailer, and OMG, I'm even more hyped to watch it now than I was when they released the picture of Robin in the costume.
Well, then we were when they released the picture of the actual logo for the show.
Right. It was like the logo, yay! Robin in costume. Oh my goodness!
It was great because a couple of weeks ago we learned
Now the trailer.
that they put out a statement saying that Titans was not a kid show,
Yes.
right? It was gonna be
Dark.
right,
Like
dark,
really dark,
gritty,
gritty,
right?
really gritty
and like set for adults
for
because
adults.
this is a show of the Teen Titans now being adults,
right.
right? So
They're no
we
longer
got it.
teens. They're
That's-
young.
that's-
They're young adult Titans.
That's why they're not. Yeah,
the
that's why,
YA Titans.
that's why it doesn't say teen in front of the name. It's just Titans, right? Which is
Of
also
industry.
right
No,
now
superheroes.
a comic series on DC Rebirth, right?
Okay.
Which is the same group of people. Well, if they add Wally,
Right.
right? But so the trailer finally came out, right? And
Yes.
perfect timing. Throughout the trailer, throughout the pricing, Lego, right?
Yep.
The trailer finally came out, and in the first 30 seconds, you know that it's not for kids.
It is not for kids. You get an angry Robin who's ticked off at Batman, and he expresses that when they ask, "Where's
Very
Batman?
brusque.
Where's Batman?"
Very colorfully.
And then they give us they set up. It looks like this season is going to be about right Robin and Raven
Yeah.
mostly. That's kind of what it seems like. Those seem to be the 2 main stories that we're gonna see. But what was great is that they showed a little bit of everyone else. You know, they showed us Starfire. They showed us Beast Boy jumping, looking like he's about to transform. And they show us these wonderfully brutal cuts of
Hawk and Dove.
Brutally cutting people because they're not heroes. They're vigilantes. Is how they're starting.
I have
out in the
something
series.
interesting to share that I read. Apparently, the actress that plays Dove not only has studied ballet for years, which is why a lot of those moves look like she's dancing,
Right.
but she's also like a black belt.
Nice.
Like, so she's a black belt and
Ballet.
a ballet
She's a
dancer.
black belt ballet dancer.
Right.
Is she single?
Right? So she's like, so
I'm
they,
in love.
she's like, so they use that.
You
She's
think of
like,
the Comic Con.
she was like, they used that in the show. Like, they took advantage of that, and a lot of her fighting moves, she mixes them both.
Right.
Wow.
Right, so you're gonna see that it looks like she's being
very-
graceful. Meanwhile,
Like
she's
a-
like,
Whooping.
Graceful like a dove
yeah, whatever.
flying around.
Those are pigeons. Meanwhile, she's like
No, doves are doves. Pigeons are
breaking.
pigeons.
She's breaking people's bones and like cutting them up with their wings. So
Yeah.
it's like,
So
it's amazing.
so they showed the trailer. They showed a little bit of the powers of everybody. All we're saying is that super excited to see where they're going. And on top of that, them coming out and saying Jason Todd showing up,
Donna Troy is showing
Donna
up,
Troy is showing up,
otherwise known as Red Hood and Wonder Girl.
and Wonder Girl. The question. I wonder if they'll put Wonder Girl instead of Kid Flash, just because of how DC is so weird about their characters crossing.
Yeah.
So you bring in Wonder Girl, and
Hey,
then
maybe they'll bring in Kid Flash from the CW.
No,
because
he's done.
no. He was in a Flash trailer.
No, he said he's no longer doing Legends, and he's gonna be phased out of the Flash.
But he was in the Flash trailer.
Right, but he's gonna be phased out of the Flash.
Okay, so they'll throw him into Titans.
No, he's like done with that character. That's what I'm
Really?
telling you. Yes.
That's good. He sucked anyway.
he's done with that character. But
He did. He really
so
did.
yeah, but it was what they gave him.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe they just do Donna Troy instead of Kid Flash because how weird they are, and then hopefully they do a young Jason Todd, not Red Hood.
Yeah, hopefully they'll bring in Jason
Todd.
Todd as Robin.
Right.
Right.
Right as
he's transitioning to Nightwing.
Yeah.
That'll be dope.
Yeah.
Like before,
right as Grayson is
before the death of Todd, right? Before the death of Robin, right? So he's the fresh one because that's the thing. Unwritten law about the Titans or Teen Titans, that they can't be a Teen Titans without a Robin.
Right.
Right. But even though, like I said earlier, this is Titans, not Teen Titans, they'll probably try to work something in there where it's the same, or they just bring him in as the Red Hood and he shows up as the anti-hero and just starts shooting everybody up.
Yeah, I hope not because that would be
town.
that would be kind of weird with the timelines and everything that he just kind of shows up. So
they do what they want.
So we'll see.
So now they make clear in 30 seconds of the scene.
Very true, very true. But being the old head here and the comic book nerd that I am, like everything, because I've been reading a lot about Robin's so angry and all this, right? If you go back, you can go online and you can find these comics online for you to read on your tablet or on your computer. Go back and you read when the Teen Titans were first created in the 80s, I believe 87 or 88. This was the storyline. Robin was pissed at Batman because he was never going to be Batman and the tough love that Batman would show him. And whenever he went out with the Titans and they would fight bad guys, he was brutal because he was pissed at Batman.
Right.
So he went through that, and it was it was Superman that talked to him and calmed him down and actually gave him the name, sort of gave him the name Nightwing. Like Nightwing, he chose Nightwing because of a Kryptonian story, like folklore or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Right, so
all right, there we go.
Read those comics.
All right, so now the last two. All right, so these are the two movie trailers me and Jay have been talking about. We've been waiting for. We got to go quick because of time.
Right.
So I don't know which one to start with.
Shazam.
All right, so Shazam. Shazam trailer came out. It's got
Shazam because Michael's also excited.
Oh, Michael's very excited about
Levi.
Shazam because it got Zachary Levi. Whatever.
Last episode of Chuck.
I still think should have been John Cena, but that's just me.
Zachary Levi was perfect.
So the trailer came out. Quickly, thoughts, Michael.
I thought it was awesome. It was hilarious.
All right, none. Quickly, thoughts, Jay.
Said none.
Sorry, let's do a dope counter for Jay. It was dope. It was super dope. It was dope without vowels.
And you got and you got to add the right.
No, right? Yo,
right.
Come on.
As a comic book junkie,
It was amazing. It was amazing to see. Not just that they kept to the origin story, like perfectly, the train and all that, but just that one scene where he's walking as Billy Batson and he says Shazam, and the lightning comes down.
Yes.
And there's Zachary Levi as Shazam. Come on.
Right.
I mean, when he's like, "Oh, I'm a superhero," and he's got like all this junk food from the gas station.
Right. So when they were talking about the movie, the movie and the trailer coming out, they were saying a superhero Big.
Right.
So have you ever seen the movie Big?
No.
All right. So you need to see the movie Big.
Wow, he needs to
list.
watch a lot.
It's
whole
from
list.
It's a movie. It's from the 80s. It's one of the
Tom Hanks.
It's one of the first or second Tom Hanks movies. It's one of the movies that kind of set him on that road to be the big actor that he is now.
Right.
And it's basically
I think it was the second. I think it was first a Splash.
and then Big.
then
I
Big.
think Big is the one that really kind of launched him.
Yeah.
So he's this kid who
always
makes
getting bullied.
who makes a wish, and he was like on one of those Zoltar, genie whatever machines.
Arcade things.
Yeah.
And he makes a wish, and then he wakes up the next morning and he's an adult. And
But
it's just
he's still
a kid at mine. So it's him navigating that kind of world with his best friend, kind of helping him. And that's all. You need to watch it. It's a great movie. I'm gonna have to watch it this week.
have to watch it again,
Now that
right?
I'm talking about. It's such a funny movie, and like I said, so you watch it. Big. So this is what it is. It's superhero Big. Kid man's body, still 13-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
14-year-old kid brain. So, I mean, I still have a 16-year-old kid brain, so I get it.
I think you went a couple ages too high, but yeah.
Too high.
About 8 years.
Don't pick a fight in a man's house. Who could break
Watch
you?
them paper cuts, man.
That's right. Watch them paper
Oh my
cuts.
God, I'm done. Good night, everybody.
Hello. So yeah, that's inside joke that will not be
It
repeated.
will never be explained.
Ever be explained.
Right, all right, so Aquaman.
So anyway, so Shazam, I loved it. I think it looks great. Super excited to see it.
Yes.
And Zachary,
You
whatever.
warmed up to it. Zachary Levi.
I warmed up because the uniform. I'm sorry, the suit, the uniform,
The uniform.
the suit. When the original pictures that we saw online when they were filming, it looked bad.
Right.
It still looks a little puffy, but it looked a lot better seeing it in motion.
Yeah, and
when they added the
post-production
stuff.
and whatever.
So excellent. The second one, Aquaman, the guy who is not like the one in the comics. Because
No, he is like the one in the comics.
he's-
Not like the one.
He's
not like the one in the
Polynesian. He's Polynesian. He's not.
Oh, yeah.
He's not a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white guy.
Which is funny, right? Because in the comics, the blonde hair and blue eyes is what makes him stand out as
In
the
Atlantis.
outsider.
Right.
No, as the outsider. Because in Atlantis, they're all like, whatever. They're all brunettes,
Right.
like because whatever. So the fact they flipped it, right?
Right.
Because you see Orm, right? In the comics, he has black hair. Here, he's like bright bleach blonde.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, but whatever. That's all like.
That was just the joke.
That's just secondary.
The point
Like-
is,
like it's amazing,
wow.
amazing.
Wow.
This kid here to my right said it was cheesy, but he doesn't really know anything
He's
about
gonna get
Aquaman.
punched. He's gonna get punched in the
Right.
mouth.
I mean, it's underwater Thor.
Stop
It's
it.
Thor of the undersea.
Now you're gonna get stabbed in the mouth.
Stop it, because the Thor movie sucked. But anyway,
I like Ragnarok.
well, Ragnarok was cool.
I
Ragnarok
mean,
was funny.
Zachary Levi was in number 2 and made it like 10 times better.
Was he?
Just kidding, just kidding.
Was he? Anyway.
He wasn't
No.
a
No, I'm.
All right, anyway,
the point
right?
is, go ahead.
Aquaman.
Yes.
Aquaman. It kicks off after Justice League,
Yes.
but there's no actual tie except for the fact that it's Aquaman.
Right. So the tie is Aquaman.
It's Aquaman.
Right.
Right? This is Aquaman. But everything, it's I'm not gonna lie. I was worried when they mentioned James Wan was gonna be directing it.
Right.
I was super worried because from my knowledge,
He's a
all
horror
James
director.
Wan has done have been horror movies.
Horror movies.
Right? Which aren't really horror movies, but
No, his movies are horror movies.
they're gore movies. They're
No,
gore
Insidious and some of those like the Saw movies are more gore, but then he had the
But
the Insidious.
I
and all
didn't think
that stuff.
Insidious was scary. I thought it was boring.
It's a horror movie, but it's still a horror
Yeah.
movie. It doesn't matter.
and
Doesn't
Junie-
matter what you think.
And Junie laughed. But anyway,
Doesn't matter what you
he's
think.
a horror
That's
movie
what it
director,
is.
right? And then he's gonna go and take on like a superhero movie, not just a superhero movie, but because he had his choice,
Of
right?
superheroes,
He had his choice of superheroes, which one he wanted to do,
which I didn't know that when I found that I was like, what?
and then he went purposely and picked
Aquaman.
Aquaman
Wait,
because
what were his options?
anyone he wanted.
anyone except for Batman or Superman, like anyone he wanted,
Yeah.
and Wonder Woman,
Wonder
right?
Woman,
the
yeah.
Trinity, but anyone he wanted, he
Yep.
could have done a movie
Any of
about
them.
any of the other ones,
He
Any
picked
of them.
Aquaman.
and he chose Aquaman.
Yep.
Like probably the hardest one to do because it's Aquaman.
Right.
There's already an idea of what Aquaman is like.
Yep.
Right. Not anybody's favorite superhero.
Right.
Not anybody.
Right.
The
Most
most-
people know
the
about him
most
from
mocked.
Entourage. Like, because somebody was saying like they were like Aquaman. Yeah, what I knew about Aquaman was from the show on HBO Entourage. Was it HBO Entourage or something?
Yeah. HBO was on charge. Fun fact: the guy that plays Hawk on Titans played Aquaman on Smallville.
Ah,
That just
popped in your head.
it just
All right.
popped in my head, right? But anyway,
so
the
Aquaman
underwater scenes
look great.
right, were amazing. The special effects, which I'm glad that he went old school with, right? So according to him, everything waist up was old school special effects, right? But let's be honest, you can't have a movie like Aquaman that's based mostly in Atlantis.
Or not just Atlantis, based underwater.
Yeah, a fictional city underwater, right?
And not
Without
CGI.
using like special effects or CGI or whatever, right? But it all looked
Yeah,
Think
it
about
looked
it. It's just-
really good.
That
and,
scene in the aquarium.
Yeah.
and the detail, right? The detail. Like I kept saying, like the cape is always getting to me, right? It always
Right.
gets me. The cape always gets me because what I love is that they speak normal. It's not like
Right.
It's like they speak normal,
They wouldn't.
right? Because it's like underwater, right? They speak normal.
Terrible joke. Go
I
ahead.
know it is, but the detail, like they pay attention to the detail,
Right.
Right, they're underwater. Orm's cape is waving. His hair is waving. Right, the detail. That freaking aquarium scene. Forget
That was
about it.
sick.
Oh my!
I would
goodness.
have pooped my pants. You sitting there, also that shark hits that glass. I would have. They'd have been like, they would have called me poopy pants for the rest of my elementary school career.
So like, real
Yeah,
life.
so Aquaman, super excited to see it. Not much
that's-
else, and it's coming out in November
November,
this year.
like
Awesome.
like Shazam is spring of next year,
Yes,
right? But Aquaman is this year.
And then the last thing I'll throw out there is that they also announced 4 DC animated movies coming out next year. Super excited about those. We'll touch on them later.
One of them is Hush. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, one of them is Hush, which go find the graphic novel, read it, and then you'll thank us. All right, so this week's the song that we want to push out for everyone to check out, and we'll post it on the page and everywhere. KB, the song is called "Long Live the Champion." It's got a very Latin-esque sound to it. One of the guys raps in Spanish.
It's not Latin-esque. It's completely Latin.
Esque.
It's completely Latin.
I will say it's esque. Jay says it's Latin.
It's
You
completely
listen to
Latin.
it and you decide.
And agree with me. It's completely Latin.
I don't know. Only because of the horns. We're not,
Because of everything. The
we're not
horns,
gonna
the percussion, everything.
The entire video.
No, the percussion was more. I don't know. To me, it sounded more of trap than it did.
It was all Latin. They had
Trap nail. It was trap nail.
Trap congas? Come on, get out of here.
I'll listen to it again. I just heard more of the trap. Anyway, the point is we love the song. We really liked it. Much better than Andy Minio's Coquito song, as far as I'm concerned.
It's 2 different songs. 2 different songs.
Well,
2
but
different
if you're
styles.
gonna call a song Coquito, it should have sounded like the song called "Live the what is it? Long Live the Champion."
Why should it have?
Because you're set the expectation by putting out a Spanish
Get outta here.
title to it. Nobody did anything in Spanish. He threw out the few words he knows in Spanish that he throws out in all his other raps. That's all I'm saying. And I'll listen to it again. But I'm telling you, this song was better. What was that?
I said cafe con leche. He like says that in like 4 different songs.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wake
Yeah.
up in the morning.
He
get that
says
cafe con leche.
he says like the same
I
5
didn't notice
Spanish
that.
words and everything. You know, his
Hey.
wife needs to teach him some more
I was about
Spanish.
to say,
That's all
yo,
I'm saying.
he's been married. He's been married for a while now, so he needs to.
And his wife
he
needs-
to know more.
his wife needs to
more
step up.
Spanish, right? Because
Write him a verse in Spanish.
Magda speaks Spanish. Magda speaks perfect Spanish already.
That's
Well-
all I'm saying. All right.
Mira.
So,
Yeah, long live the champion.
long live the champion, KB. We'll post it up
Andy,
everywhere.
nothing against you or your wife, right? You're beautiful people. I love you.
Yes. Don't go swim with the fishes. I don't know. All right, Jay.
Don't go swimming with the shark.
With the sharks or the jets.
I'm done.
All right. So now it's
I quit.
no, you don't because you're up, Jay. What's going on? What's today's topic?
All right, so
What's today's topic?
a couple days ago, because I think it's weeks, but I'm not sure. I'm old. I forget things. A couple of days ago, a while ago, buddy boy Michael here, he moonlights as a photographer. And I say moonlights because he's got a lot of jobs. He does a lot of things. But he moonlights as a photographer, and he's really good. Michael is the one that took the pictures of us for the new website.
Correct.
Right? So he put up a picture that said dreamers and doers. Right? And I loved it. But being who I am, I can I can see anything and Jesus juking and pull up a sermon or whatever. It's just the pastor in me. Right? But when I saw it, right, I loved it. Right? And I reached out to him and was like, yo, I love this because I love the message, dreamers and doers, right? Because there's a difference between a dreamer and a doer. But then I saw it again, and wrong one. And James 1:22 jumped out, right? And I saw dreamers and doers, and I thought of James 1:22 that says, "Be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves." Right? That's the ESV translation.
Correct.
I'm going to do the amplified, right? But prove yourselves doers of the word, actively and continually obeying God's precepts, and not merely listeners, those who hear the word but fail to internalize its meaning, deluding yourselves by unsound reasoning contrary to the truth. See, my go-to is the ESV, but I like the amplified. I like the amplified because it amplifies, right? So
I'm not gonna say anything.
don't say nothing, right? So I've known Michael for a lot longer than Joaquin has,
Yes, I still don't know him.
and right.
He's never seen Young Justice.
Like he's shared a bit of his story with me. I don't know it all, but I know enough. And then what I do know is that I know that Michael's a dreamer, right? I know he's a dreamer. You can't be a creative person and not be a dreamer.
And he's not the only one.
I was waiting for that. Right? There you go. Good job. Right? But the difference, though, is that Michael's a dreamer that is fully awake.
So you would say he's a doer.
And he steps out. He steps out in faith, right, on these dreams, right? Michael has dreams that he's shared with me that when I hear him tell me, like the thoughts in my head, I'm like, this kid is out of his mind. Right? This kid is out of his freaking mind. But then I'll see him again in a couple days, and he's actually taking steps to making these dreams happen, right? To making sure that he's prepared for when these dreams are no longer dreams, right? And it's impressive. It's super impressive and a little bit inspirational. I'm not gonna say that so he won't have a big head, but
yeah, I have to go get your glasses.
But
Shots fired.
I'm a stop.
Shots fired.
I'm gonna stop so that he can share a bit of his story and share with you personally in your life, right? When you hear what I just said, when you read the verse and you hear what I just said of how it made me think of you, you can expand on that to all of our listeners all over the world.
Yeah, so I'll start with my story because that provokes the dream. Would be what God did and what God transformed to make that even possible. So I grew up in a house that was just a broken mess and broken family, divided family, and I was in love with Jesus at a young age, but let the hypocrisy of other people who said they were believers, who spoke truth, but their lives looked nothing like it, decide my belief of who Jesus was and what Jesus did or what Jesus looked like, until eventually coming to college, having to wrestle with the goodness of God for myself, and a friend challenging me and saying, let's read the book of John together, and met up week after week after week after week and helped show me that if I were to look at Christianity only for what Jesus did, only for what he taught, only for what he said, only for the life he lived and the death he died, then Christianity would look totally different. And that would begin seeing the people of God different. And then out of that, I would see the Bible as this huge love letter to the world that's saying, I'm going to get my kids back. And no longer was the Great Commission this do, but instead it was a response out of what's already been done. And that was this active approach at that point of coming to the throne of grace and realizing what's already been done for me. And now everything that I've lost before is worth it, knowing that I have Jesus. And so now every dream that I could possibly have is still not going to be, I could lose it, and I still have everything because I have Christ.
Right.
And so for me, I was coming from a Baptist or other homes, other denominations where I had only seen people do one thing and say something else.
Right.
So when I came to Christ, I realized my life needs to look like his, because his life looks like the Father's. And if I'm going to live this Great Commission, it's going to look like a family on mission together. And so for me, when I saw that sign, it resonated with me. So me and my girlfriend were in Tampa this past week, and we were in the Oxford Exchange walking around. There's this random neon sign by the bathroom that just say dreamers and doers. And to me, it was the coolest thing that was there, but it was just hidden behind the bathrooms. I'm like, what the heck is this? So I'm sitting outside the bathroom doors with my camera, taking a photo of this neon sign.
Dreamers and poopers. No, let's change it. Let's change it to doers.
Dreamers and doers.
Doers.
and it resonated with me because even right now in my life, I can look at leaders that I've seen in my life who are great dreamers but do nothing to say that they're making an active approach towards what they believe God's called them to do, or they're just doing the same thing over and over and over again with no purpose behind it. And it's like one just looks like religion, and the other just looks like, what the heck are you doing? I don't really know how to explain it outside of that. And the same friend told me that your preparation for something matches your belief in it. And so that began changing every sphere of my life, the way I look at my relationships, the way I look at my finances, the way that I looked at even like the car I have now was like, God, if I believe you're going to do that, then I need to prepare my heart in a place where I can actually receive that, or where I can actually steward that well. And yeah, so that's what that dreamers and doers statement just stuck with me, because I realized that the dream provokes me to do something today, that he has new mercies for me today, that are crafted for me today to prepare me for what he has ahead of me.
Okay.
Right. Yes. Yep.
All right. I'm at to replace Jay with you. Keep talking like that.
But I mean, if you replace me with Jay, I'll have to start using vowels. And that'll throw everything off.
True. No, it might have.
No, you speak with vowels, but you don't write with vowels.
We might get more listeners. So
You talk about might.
All right. So wow, that's right. That's the message in and of itself. So I'm just trying to process everything you said because you said a lot. You have any questions for him, Jay? You have anything else you want to?
Well, he still has to. He still has to speak out on the doers, right? Because, all right. So check this out.
1 2 1 2.
Yeah,
when I met Michael, right? He told me. I mean, I met him at the church that he's serving in, and he's the only one that I'm still in contact with. But that's another podcast. That's another episode, right? But I met him at the church he's serving in, and we just started talking, right? Because he's also a musician. So he's a musician. He leads college ministry, right? He's a campus pastor, right? He does missions, right? And this kid tells me that he's wants to do missions out in Eastern Europe, right? So either Poland or where else?
Romania or Russia.
Right. I don't know about Russia. This is Poland or Romania. Right. So what does he do? And this is what I'm talking about having to step out in faith, right? So nobody's called him to tell him, okay, we want you to serve in Poland for 2 years. We're gonna cover your expenses. We're gonna whatever, right? No one has told him that. But he believes in it so much that the kid already started learning Polish. Right? He's already started learning Polish. He's already just like praying on it and looking into it. But and that's what it is, right? That's what it is. You can't say this is one of the things that drive me, right? You can't say that you want to do something for the kingdom, but then sit on your behind and not take any steps towards it. Even if those steps are praying, right? Yeah, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And then you're just sitting on your butt. You're not making any moves towards it. You're not like actively pursuing it, but then you're upset that nothing's happening and nothing's getting done, right? And you want to blame God. You want to blame the church. You want to blame people for not supporting you, but you're not doing anything, right?
Right.
Nothing. And I say that in a reflection of my life, because everything that I've done, or whatever levels or whatever that I've reached, is because, you know what? I can do this, right?
Right.
I can do this. All right, God, just,
Yeah.
grant me the favor to get into these places, but boom, they get done.
Yeah. We all have experienced that, the idea of I want to do this, but.
Yeah.
Right. One of the things I've always said when, especially when I met Jae and Angel and we would talk about things, and, everybody always wants to do things with excellence, right? Which is a worthy goal, right? Mm-hmm. To do things with excellence. But the problem is a lot of times we face is we want to do things with excellence, right? But we don't have the tools to do it with how we think it should be done. So one of the things I always used to say was, well, let's use what we got. If you want to, we did these little janky devotional videos, and it was me recording, and we faded, we faded a title in, we faded a title out, we threw them up, and, but it was just, when we started the podcast, we started on a computer with USB microphones, and I think of the first 10, or the first 20, like 3 of them, I don't know what happened to them. Like, we replayed them, we couldn't hear somebody. You couldn't hear somebody, or it was all staticky or whatever. But it's this idea, of, like you're saying, if God's giving you this vision, and so then how do you begin to pursue that vision? Like Jay said, even if it's praying, or the way my mind works is, somebody today said to me, I want to do a podcast like you do. What do I need to do? I was like, grab your iPhone, record it on your iPhone. You can edit it right on your iPhone, and there you go. There's your podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Well, learn. It's not that hard. That's why it's an iPhone, right? Because it's designed for
download the Anchor app.
It's designed for simpletons. So that's the kind of thing. So.
Right. But if that's it, I mean, again, there's an app called Anchor that anybody can download and anybody can get on and do their podcast, like whatever it is.
It's like a short form, yeah.
But the deal is that, we have to be unafraid to step out in faith, right? We have to be unafraid that if we want something, right, and we feel that that's where the Lord is leading us, then the Lord will guide the way. Yeah. Right? The Lord will lead the way, and he will provide for you the things that you need that you can't get yourself, right? But you have to step out in that faith, right? Like I'm currently doing that with something super, super huge, right? But the other day, I was sitting in the midst of my writing proposals and writing all these contracts and stuff, and I'm sitting there like, yo, how did I get here? Like, how is it that I'm doing that? I've never done this before, right? I'm not a contract writer. I don't know what proposal writing is. Thank God for the internet, right? But I know that I need it. I know that I need it for what I'm doing, right? So the research, the work, the prayer, the research, the work, the connecting with people that know a little more than I do, right? And yeah, I send it to these people who do this for a living, and they're like, hey, I think you missed your calling in becoming a designer, because like this is like really good. Like, yay, thank you, internet. Thank you, Google. Right?
Thank you, copy and paste.
That's not even just reading and seeing, and it's like, all right, but because you can't just go around copying and pasting because it has to fit your vision, right? But it's a good start to read and know layout and all that. So Michael here, when he came to the house, the last time, I think for my birthday, and he was speaking to my in-laws, right? Just the few scattered words that he knew, but still, right. I they see that like, oh wow, that's so good, right? And Michael's like, oh, that's great. Meanwhile, I'm looking at him like, this kid, right?
Right.
Oh, I wanna go out and be a missionary in Poland. and now he's over here like learning making me look bad, right? Over here learning Polish, making me look bad.
That's what it's really about.
Right? That is what it's really about, right? So what would you add to that? Because you didn't say anything, you didn't share anything about your humble beginnings. But what would you add to that, right? To inspire people,
Yeah.
right? To get off their butts.
So I totally flipped my Bible to a passage that I think speaks it better than I could. I'm going to make it as concise as possible. Basically, Saul and Jonathan have the only 2 swords in all of Israel, and all the blacksmiths have been taken by the Philistines.
Yeah.
And it says, one day Jonathan, the son of Saul, said to the young man who carried his armor, "Come, let us go over to the Philistines' garrison on the other side." But he did not tell his father. Saul was staying in the outskirts of Gibeah in the pomegranate cave at Migron, and the people who were with him were about 600 men, including Ahijah and Shiloh, wearing an ephod. And so all of Saul's men are waiting, and they're waiting with the ephod, which is just used to discern the will of God. And Jonathan says, "Let us go over to the Philistine garrison." And later says to the same man, "Come, let us go over to the garrison, to these uncircumcised men, and it may be that the Lord will work for us, for nothing can hinder the Lord from saving many or few." And his armor bearer said, "Do all that is in your heart, do as you wish. Behold, I am with you, heart and soul," which I think sounds even cooler in Spanish. "Con todo mi corazón." Like, it just sounds so much better than in English. And behold, we will cross over to the men, and we will show ourselves to them. If they say to us, "Wait until we come to you," then we will stand still in our place, and we will not go up to them. But if they say, "Come up to us," then we will go up, for the Lord has given them into our hand. And I think for me, I had seen a generation of people where they were the older men who were just sitting there with their sword saying, maybe it's the will of God, maybe it's this. And instead, like, being a part of a generation of believers that were saying, no, I know who my God is. I know who he's the Savior. It's not a maybe he will save or maybe he'll fight for us. It's a whether, am I going to fight this battle knowing the battle's already won? Or am I going to step up to the battle and see that God's going to fight for me? And so he says, let us get up there, and either they'll come to us or we're going to pursue them. But no matter what will hold him back from saving many or a few? Like, no matter what, he's going to save us, but let's see if he'll save a nation. And I think sometimes people have to use what they got, but I think there's also a space of what has he given me to be faithful with, and where can I see him do greater? Like right. the kid with 5 loaves and some fish. Like, God isn't going to give you a dream that is within the constraints of your budget. Like, he's not going to give you a dream that is like, oh, share your lunchbox with 4 people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's in the faithfulness of showing up with your lunchbox that he's going to change 5,000 people. And so I think the what I would say to inspire other people to do it is be faithful with what you have, but be expectant that it's greater than what you have, and be faithful to see that it's how great he is, and that he's greater than you and your weakness. And he, like Paul says, he would become all to all people. And it's like, for me, I was given this dream and a broken heart for Eastern Europe, but he told me to do campus ministry, and I didn't want to do that. Like,
right.
And it was hard. It was a transition. It was a homesickness from Romania coming back to Kennesaw. And I was like, well, Lord, if you've called me to reach, if you said one thing and you're saying this thing, you're faithful in both of those words.
That's right.
You're faithful to bring completion. And if I'm not promised tomorrow, like your word says, but you've promised these things, then maybe it's just the Polish person I reach right now. Maybe if I become all to this one person today, it'll reach a nation tomorrow I might not see. Or if I reach this Hindu student today in this one moment, it'll reach his family in Mumbai that I may never see. But like that he'll win battles beyond what I can see if I just show up with the sword he's given me. Yeah, there are only 2 swords and all that.
You show up with the seed, right? And you plant it, and you walk away.
Yeah.
Right? And then that tree will bear that fruit, right? That'll feed many.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like Joaquin and I always say, that Jesus discipled the 12, but the 12 discipled the 5,000.
Yeah.
Right. So, it's and it's like that because sometimes we, as people, we get afraid that we're not doing anything, right? Because we're short-sighted.
Yeah.
Right. So we stop instead of
Right.
continuing or pushing on. We stop because we're short-sighted. We don't see the seed or the fruit that could come years later.
Right.
Yeah.
So why am I?
Right?
Yeah. Why am I doing this? Well, yeah. No. And both of those points, right? So you have if God's called you to A, then it's like we're saying, what do I have? So let me use what I have, like what you said, knowing that God is gonna open more doors, is gonna provide what needs to be provided, or doesn't need to be provided, whatever that looks to God, right? But it's that movement, right? It's that motion, I think that's where we all fail. Is that you were saying you had people that had dreams, but then they don't act. Then you have people that have dreams, they act, and they look foolish to the dreamers that are not acting.
Yeah.
It's funny how we always see that, right? It's like, oh, look at that guy. Why is he doing that? Well, it's God's called him to do that, and it looks foolish to me because I have a dream to write a book, but I'm not pursuing that dream. But he's got a dream, and he's pursuing it. So it looks foolish to me.
Growing up, I used to hear from leadership in my church in New York when I would just step out in faith and do things. They would always stop me and tell me, "Who told you can do that?" Right?
Right.
Who told you can do that? Or the other one that I loved was, "You're too young in the faith to be doing that." Right? And I'm like, that is so against everything that the Bible says. Right?
Well, and the thing is,
David
that,
is a runt.
yeah. Well, but like
Even Samuel
to be
was like
to be a little a little bit nice to them. Unfortunately, what it is a lot of times is that people, because I've heard that too, but it doesn't always come from a bad place. People, but we all have ideas of how things should go. When I was told, like, well, if you want to do ministry, if you feel called to ministry, well, when you graduate from high school, you go to college. When you graduate from college, you got to go to seminary. Then when you get your seminary training, then you can do ministry, right? So that's how it has to be done, right? So if I would have said, well, I'm gonna do what like Michael's doing, it would have been like, well, no, you need to go to seminary first. So not that they were doing it to kill the dream, but they were doing it, but they thought they were being helpful.
Yeah. The funny thing though is that the leaders would tell me
Let's
this.
be a little charitable. That's the word I was looking for.
The leaders would tell me, oh, but then my pastor would be like shaking his head at me, like don't listen to them. Just come here. You want to pray for him? Come here. Stand with me. We'll pray together, right? So it's like, thank you, Padre. Thank you, right? Because my whole thing was, but like, it's like the eunuch. Like the eunuch told Philip, right? There's water right here. What's to keep me from getting baptized right now?
What do I need to wait for?
Right?
Right.
What do I need to learn? Like, there's water. I want to be baptized.
Right.
Can we just do this? Right. That's the the J translation.
Right. So,
yeah.
As we're coming up to time. All right. So tell me if I got this right. Here's how I'm gonna summarize it. You tell me you fill in the blanks.
Uh-oh.
Or tell me you're a moron. This is what I meant. So what I'm taking away from this, from what you've shared with us, Michael, is this: pursue the dream God's giving you. Pursue it using the means that you have at the moment, but always believing that God's going to provide greater than what you have at the moment. Is that a fair?
Yeah.
Would you say that's a
I'd say
fair?
it's close.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can best sum it up with movements are built between moments. And if you can't be faithful in the moment, then you just won't see the movement. And I think you have to dream for a movement, but if you can't be faithful in the moment, you just won't see it happen.
Awesome. So I'm awesome and he's awesome. You suck, Jay. So, hey, so that's it.
No, wait, hold on. There's one more thing. One more thing.
Jay's trying to be like us.
No. Listen, there's one more thing. So,
Wink.
His like twice his size.
Michael lives Michael lives off of help, right? That people pour into him so that he can continue doing the ministry and living out what God has called him to live out, right? So what I want you to do, Michael, is share the website where people can learn about you and give.
I got to pull it up on Google.
Uh-oh.
How about this? Instead, I'm going to share my number.
Share what number?
My phone number. Can you share my phone number? They text it to me. It's a whole bunch of numbers. It's like give dot blah 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 dot blah blah slash 84. You made the link.
Is it not up on your website?
No, it's not.
How are you not gonna have that on your website?
How about this? Text me at 912-661-4223. It's 912-661-4223. And tell me you were listening to Overflow, and and I'll send you the link. And I would love for you to be a part of what God's doing on campus.
All right. I just need you to realize that
I
people
should totally be on my website.
People all over the world listen to us.
And I totally need to pull it up.
That's great.
All right, you ready? It's give.everynation.org/P-469- Michael, Phillips, PHILLIPS .ASPX.
So
right. Or you can text me.
Just text me the number. That's way too long.
There'll be a link on the Overflow podcast.
All right.
site.
So anyway, that's it. We are done. Thank you for joining us today, Michael. Thanks for being here. And
Thank you guys.
And as always, you're always. Anytime you want to come and join us, it doesn't matter. All you got to do is text and say I'm on my way, and we're happy to have you. For all those that are listening, thanks once again. Always remember theoverflowpodcast.com, where all the links, the videos, and everything will be there. We can register and subscribe and blah, 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 blah. So, as always, my name is Joaquin.
I'm still Jay.
And our friend,
Michael.
Thanks for joining us. See you next week.